So there's two topics that I think are interesting since the AWC finals have happened. The first one is I wanted to talk a little bit about the AWC meta and not necessarily, well, yeah, kind of do like an AWC tier list. I know you guys have seen a lot of tier lists, but I also wanted to talk about spec viability versus representation. I don't know if you guys watched the finals. Perhaps you did. I think there is a spec. There's one spec in particular that I'm thinking about that obviously did extremely well on the finals. And even after the finals, people were coming in my stream and they were telling me how bad that spec is and it's just mid and it only works in tournaments, etc., etc., etc. And that spec is Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw Rogue is just one of a couple different examples, but Outlaw Rogue in particular is obviously good. I don't think there's any doubt about that, you know? And some people are like, oh man, you know, it's only good because Waz is playing it, and it's only good because Trill's playing it, and it's only good because Calvish is playing it, and it's only good because Brunhitty is playing it. It's like, how many people need to play this back to actually prove to you guys that it's actually good? All right? You're crazy. First of all, certain specs that are really well represented, or were really well represented in the AWC versus like not on ladder. So what I did here is I went to Drusvar. I checked out the 3v3 ladder. I looked at the last 14 days, okay? So this isn't the whole season. This is the last 2 weeks, which I think is a fair sample size. We can even look at the top 500. So let's look at the top 500. We'll look at US and EU. So Asa Rogue, we actually saw no Asa Rogue in tournament play at all. There's literally no Asa Rogue in tournament play. I'm pretty sure this weekend we did not see Frosty K. We did, however, see Fury Warrior. We see Hunter? I don't remember. I don't know if we saw too much Hunter. I think we saw a little Demon Hunter, not much. Not really any enhance. We saw a lot of Outlaw Rogue. Outlaw Rogue was extremely well represented in the AWC for how many people aren't really playing. We did see, not Survival Hunter, we did see BM Hunter, I do believe. BM and Marks, but I don't think we did see any Survival. I don't think we saw any Arms. We saw no Rep Paladin. And Rep Paladin is actually kind of the opposite of Outlaw, where on the ladder and on Solo Shuffle, you see a decent amount of Rep Paladins, but not too much. There's a little bit of Sub Rogue. We saw, I think, 0 Feral Druids, which is kind of crazy. I think we saw Jungle a little bit during the Cup stages, right? Or during the, what is it called? The Gauntlet. There was a little bit of Feral. We did see Mez on the Unholy Death Knight and Swapsian on the Unholy Death Knight. Windwalker Monk, I think for how... I'm curious what you guys think about this, but I think for how good people thought Windwalker and think Windwalker is, it really didn't perform that well in the AWC compared to Outlaw Rogue. We saw WizK holding it down on the Shadow Priest. We saw not as much augmentation Evoker as I would have believed, to be honest with you. Because the Windwalker mains are the Outlaw rerolls too, so they pick Outlaw. Yeah, but you would think with how good Windwalker Monk is, Windwalker mains would play Windwalker, but they don't. So they still get owned by rogues. Boomkin, we saw a lot of Boomkin. Arcane Mage, I will say Arcane Mage wasn't, even though we saw Raikou play it in the finals, I feel like Arcane Mage wasn't played as much as I would have thought over the course of the weekend, to be honest with you. It didn't have the performance that I would have thought. Beast Mastery Hunter obviously did decent. It was played in the finals. It lost, but close games. Ellie Shaman was played a really good amount in the finals by Mr. Zeepai and a little bit by Jamie too. Demo was played by Chanimal. We saw 0 Destro. We saw Little Frost with Frost Demo. We only saw Raikou play that. In fact, did anyone play Mage besides... Did anyone play Mage in the whole tournament besides Raikou? Cerulean did, yeah. Cerulean played Frost. Okay, yeah, of course. Cerulean played Frost with Mage Lock. And then I think we saw Cubsy play Arcane, but they didn't have the best performance. We saw 0 Devastation Evoker. We saw 0 Affliction Warlocks. We saw just Raikou on the Fire Mage, and we did see Marks Hunter. So yeah, Marks Hunters were kind of used as like a counter pick to Mage, even though it like didn't do the best. It was okay. For healer representation, it's an interesting one. Actually, we should probably go through this. So like maybe we should make our AWC tier list as we look through this, okay? Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at Melee, okay? So this is specifically AWC Finals tier list. Frosty K, D tier. I think Havoc Demon Hunter had an okay performance. Unholy Death Knight was decent. I think it was pretty clear that Rogue was still kind of like the S tier spec. Outlaw and sub. We didn't really see any feral druids. So, you guys, this has nothing to do with what I think about them in 3v3 and what I think about them in solo shuffle. This is just what the best players in the game were playing in tournaments. We did see Fury Warrior. I think it performed pretty well. We didn't see any Arms Warrior. Saw no Arms Warrior. Windwalker Monk, I think, did okay. Not as well as I would have thought. Acid Rogue back down in the D tier. If we didn't see it, it's a D tier. Enhancement Shaman. Saul played it a little bit. Did okay. And then we saw no Rep Paladin. Obviously, I don't think Rep Paladin's D tier. I think Rep Paladin's one of those ones that... I actually think Rep Paladins could have been played. If there was like a really good Ret team, I think they could actually do okay. Peekaboo played sub, yeah. Would we say sub is A tier? I don't... Like, putting sub on A tier is just troll. But I'm going to do it anyways. I'll do it for you guys. Survival Hunter, we didn't see it. What else? Is there anything I'm missing here? No. Now we're talking about casters. So casters, we saw a little bit of Shadow Priest. I think it did pretty well. We definitely saw Augmentation Evoker. For the purposes of this graph, Devastation is Augmentation, and Devastation is dead. So real Devastation is down with the tanks and the bin, but this is Augmentation for this, okay? Feral Druid. Oh, we didn't. Did we see Feral Druid? We saw it. It did decent. I'll put it here. Let's go down the list. Boomkin definitely saw. I think Boomkin's definitely performed. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like he definitely performed. I think Elemental Shaman definitely performed. I think all three specs of Mage absolutely performed. Marks Hunter, decent. BM Hunter. Would you guys say BM Hunter's A tier for solo or for AWC? Or is it B tier? Probably B tier, huh? Demo put up an A tier. Affliction, we didn't see any Affliction. We saw 0 Destro, so it's going down in the bin. And then for healers. Okay, so healers is an interesting one. So we saw absolutely 0 Displays. 0. Throughout the entire AWC, there was no Displays at all. Or at least in the finals, right? Pretty sure. No Displays. We saw 0 Mistweaver Monk as well. There was no disc and there was no Mistweaver Monk. Druid played but lost every game instantly, right? I'm pretty sure Flop played a little bit of Druid, but they lost every game instantly. Obviously, Presevoker did really, really well. Paladins did really, really well. Holy Priest did pretty decent. And I don't even know if Resto Shaman got played, did it? I don't think anybody played Resto Shaman. So it's down in the bin. Holy Priest won an EU? Yeah, that's true. We'll put that up there. Holy Priest should be S? Yes, agreed. 100%. So, I'm making this video with my stream. If there's anything that you guys think is off about this, I would love to know. And keep in mind, this is not a solo shuffle tier list. This is not a 3v3 tier list. This is a AWC finals tier list, okay? Demo, drop it? Demo, I can't drop Demo. Demo's good, man. I don't think I can drop Demo. Fury had better representation than Arms? Oh yeah, for sure. Fury had way more representation than Arms. It wasn't even close. So I would say the ones that surprised me the most that weren't played at all. Like, I think Rep Paladin is better than D tier. Well, I think a few of these are, but... isn't Arcane S tier? SO's at 1 AWC? I mean, if you guys really want me to put Arcane in S tier, I can do that for you. But I don't think it's nearly as well-rounded as Moonkin. If you guys really want me to put it in there because one team played it and won, I think I feel more comfortable putting it at A. We could make an A+, but here, I'll put it over here for you guys, okay? I'll put the Mage specs right here with the Subtlety Rogue. I want to say, at least in North America, every single team that I talked to, or every single high-rated player that I talked to, was so coped up about how overpowered Windwalker Arcane was and that it just can't lose. And, like, it just runs over everything. And it didn't do anything in the tournament. Nobody played Windwalker Arcane, and the teams that did just lost every game. Which I think is kind of hilarious, because they lost to what everyone perceives to be the worst spec in the game, Outlaw Rogue. So that made me laugh a little bit. And it's true. We saw it. Okay, I'm not making this up. All right, so this is the official Venruki AWC meta Dragonflight Season 2 tier list. I feel very comfortable with where I put everything right now. I think it's looking good. I mean, people might give me shit because I put Moonkin instead of me. Like, I'm going to put Moonkin down here. Okay, I'm gonna put Moonkin with the mages just because I don't want to hear it. All right, so here it is. This is the official list. All right, I want to know what you guys think. This is going on YouTube, so let me know in the comments. Do you guys disagree with me? I don't know how you could just, this isn't something you can even disagree with. But once again, I do think it's hilarious how sometimes the community has a consensus about a specific spec and thinks it's bad, and then it goes on to literally win the finals in both regions. And there's only so much, like, you can't, like, in my opinion, you can't be like, oh, I said this at the beginning of the video, I'm gonna say it again. In my opinion, you can't be like, oh, it's only good because Waz plays it, Brunhilde plays it, Calvish plays it, Trill plays it. Like, everyone's playing it, okay? It's not like this crazy one-off thing. Why can't you? Because enough people are playing it and doing well. It's as played as anything else in the AWC. Like, what? For the finals, it got played by everybody. This one is AWC representative of the actual ladder meta. You're killing me, bro. You're killing me. I'm telling you guys, I can't. You're so, like, I don't know if you're trolling or what, bro, but I mean, Ret Warrior was really good on the ladder in Shadowlands and rarely did well in tournaments from what I remember. Some comps do a lot better when you know what you're facing, right? Like, there's at least some differences. Ret Warrior was not good in Shadowlands because of two reasons. Number one, its hardest counter was RMP. So there is an overwhelming amount of teams in the AWC that play mage-based comps. So two comps in particular, Mage Shadow Priest, Fire Mage Shadow Priest, and Fire Mage Rogue were pretty much the only comps that beat Ret Warrior. And it literally smashed everything else. So in the AWC, it was very underrepresented just because everyone in the entire game was playing those two comps.